How are we doing, folks? Welcome back to the Nightmare Cabin. Somber topic today. I've just heard the very sad news that local legend where I am, Wilko Johnson, has passed away at 75. Wilko's someone I've got a lot of respect for. I was a big fan of. He was mainly known as the guitarist of the band Dr. Feelgood, local band to me. They were from Canvey Island. Canvey Island's, from where I'm recording this, is about half hour away. Half hour traffic impending, really. I suppose if I could be somewhere, if I'd be at Canvey at 6:30, I'd probably leave at 6. But that's with traffic and roundabouts and all the rest of it. As the crow flies, yeah, I'm really close to it. But yeah, he got he kind of dived in and out of popularity, really. I think he's one of those musicians that was always there, and I don't think he never really got the full appreciation I think he deserved. But Dr. Feelgood, they're a band I've got a lot of respect for because they were just 4 local lads that just went for it, and they did. They really did. They had the world by the balls for about 5 minutes, but and then a lineup of Dr. Feelgood is still touring today. Obviously, Wilko left after the first couple of albums, and then the rest of the guys, Big John Sparks and the Big Figure. I don't think it was Big John Sparks; it was just John Sparks. I've got the Big Figure and John Sparks muddled up there, but and then basically Lee Brillo, the singer, was the last man standing. And the final lineup with Lee carried on with a new singer, and that's who's still touring today. A lot of Game of Thrones fans will also be familiar with Wilko. He made an appearance in the first series as the Executioner. I don't know if he popped up here and then in the second series, but the story then moved on. Wilko Johnson was a guy that he stared death in the face and went, "Come on then, let's have it." And death backed down. In 2013, he was diagnosed with cancer, and it was terminal. So he decided to just tour until he fell over. And I remember attending the show he did at the Camden Palace. He did a few shows actually, and I managed to blag a media pass for the last one. And it's called the Coco now, but it's known as the Camden Palace, famous venue. It's where Bon Scott was the night he died. But that place was sold out, absolutely packed. And fortunately for me, I managed to be right there. The stage was at my chest, and I was there taking photos the whole time. And I managed to, I did a review, and I did an article, a review of the gig with photos for musictrespass.com, which I will put in the description to the video. What a great gig! The reason at the time he was fine, he accepted his fate because his wife died a few years previously of cancer, and he just said, "Don't want any treatment. I'm going to be with her." You can't argue with that. And like I say, he thought he'd tour until he couldn't, and then there's different ways of looking at different things, but that positive energy obviously had an effect because this farewell tour just kept going and going. And I remember he did a gig a few Christmases after that, and he just said, "I'm really sorry." He said to the audience, "I'm really sorry, everyone. If I'm not dead by Christmas, this is going to be embarrassing." And he did a couple of albums with Roger Daltrey from The Who, and they did a few gigs as well. I don't know if they did a full tour, but they did a few gigs off the back of it. I know they played Shepherd's Bush Empire, and and he apparently come across a doctor in the end. They said, "Look, there's you've been misdiagnosed. This you should be dead by now. And apparently, it all sort of all it was just one tumour, which was successfully removed, and he carried on, you know, and until now, you know, today he's sadly passed, 75 years old, but you know, he had a great life. You can't ask for more than what he had, and he had a bonus as well. You know, when you survive something like that, you are on borrowed time, and you know, he lived his life to the fullest, and I think that's something we can all take from that. So yeah, I just wanted to pay my respects to a local legend, and you know, him, and hopefully that big jam in the sky, as they call it, him and Lee are going to be doing a reunion gig tonight, and yeah, that's two local legends, and you know, the fact that there isn't a statue of Lee Brillo in Candy Island or Southend, you know, there was a public, what do you call it, a GoFundMe. There was something else before that, wasn't there, to get one. Why it wasn't there, I'll never know. But hopefully they can make two now. So yeah, just a few bits to show off as well. If you you know, maybe you're aware of Wilko Johnson, and you never really. Sometimes you hear people and you go, hold on a minute, I fancy listening to them now. Where do I start? Obviously, right. So Dr. Feelgood, Down by the Jetty is the first album, followed by Malpractice. But the big one for Dr. Feelgood, like many a good band of that era, their best album was the live album. Their first couple of albums didn't really capture the live show. So not many bands of that era really. There was the live album was the one to get. So Stupidity is the one you want to get. But what I've got here is Going Back Home, and this is the band live at the Kurzel, a venue in Southend. It's still there now, but it's a bowling alley and arcade. It's not a venue anymore, sadly. But yeah, you get 9 songs on a DVD, and you get the full gig on a CD. And this is absolutely electric. Can't recommend this enough. And I dare say this is probably on YouTube now. Here we go. The old scallywags, there they are. This band were absolutely blinding when they were on full. Yeah, can't recommend that enough. And also, I highly recommend watching Oil City Confidential. Fantastic documentary by, is it Julian? Yeah, Julian Temple. This is part of a trilogy, actually. He also did The Filth and the Fury, the film about the Sex Pistols. I can't remember what the third film was. I think it was something about to do with the Clash. Yeah, and that's a thing there for the last tour of 2000. Was it 13 or 14? I can't remember now. But yeah, you know, we're nearly. That was nearly 10 years ago. You know, so he definitely outlived what he was originally given, and yeah, I can't tell you how much I respect the bloke. But yeah, this is a really good documentary, and there's a bit of local history in there as well. Yeah, really enjoyable, really good, and I really highly recommend Going Back Home as well as Stupidity. If you get as well, Ian Jury and the Blockheads live at Hammersmith Odeon, Wilko comes out and does a couple of numbers with them towards the end of the show on that as well. It's a really good appearance. If you've got that, if you can track that down, again, I dare say that's on YouTube. And yeah, check out his solo stuff later on. Again, I'm sure there's plenty of live stuff doing the rounds, but he was towards the end. He was touring as a 3-piece. It was him and guitar and vocals. Oh God, I've got the bass player from the Blockheads, awesome bass player. Forget his name. I've got to look it up. And he had a tiny little drummer with him as well, really. So let's quickly look this up. while I'm here. You shouldn't give. I know silence is death on these things, but I've got I've got to look it up. I think he played. He's done a load of stuff as well. Here we go. Ian Jury and the Blockheads. That might be quicker. I didn't realise Wilko Johnson actually played on Laughter, that album as well. So there you go. I didn't realise that. Bass. Norman Roy. There you go. Yeah, that was the show I went to as well. It was Wilko, Norman, and a young drummer they had. Just a 3-piece, no messing about. Just walked out, plugged in, 1, 2, 3, 4, bum bum bum, and then straight into. And he did a whole host of Dr. Feelgood songs and a couple of his own songs and a few blues standards as well. And he finished with Chuck Billy's "Bye Johnny, Bye Bye," and he was waving bye to the audience during the chorus. And at the end, just went, "Thanks for coming out, everyone. Great to see you." And goodbye. And he just walked off, and that was that. But yeah, what a lovely bloke, what a life, what a legacy, and yeah, a local legend, a local guy that did well. And I'll leave it with one comment. When Stupidity went to #1, and they actually charted above ABBA that week, and yeah, that was in a magazine I read. We were on top of the world. We sold more records than ABBA, even if it was just for 1 week. So I think that sums things up beautifully. So yeah, go listen to some Dr. Feelgood. Go listen to some Wilko. And thanks for watching, everyone. And take care. And yeah, Lee Brillo and Wilko Johnson, respectively. Rest in peace, both of you. Take care.